Let's shift gears over to running backs. And you want to talk about a guy you've got reason to worry about longevity. Well, first off, he's a running back. You have reason to worry about longevity with all of them. Kyren Williams just became a fantasy stud this year, completely out of nowhere. I know there are people who were Kyren Williams truthers, and I would give them credit, but he wasn't the week 1 starter. Cam Akers had 20 plus carries in week 1. He gets cut, and all of a sudden they're giving the ball 25 times a game to Williams. Now, this is exactly the type of guy that seasoned dynasty experts or managers will tell you need to take the profit. If you've got a day 3 running back, a UDFA running back, they'll say, look at James Robinson and what happened to him, right? Look at Dameon Pierce and what happened to him. You need to take this profit, go sell him for what you. Now, the only thing I would push back on that, and we've talked about this a little bit over the past couple of weeks, a lot of times those guys who have such low costs and get replaced, it's because of a regime change. Robinson got the new head coach. Pierce got the new head coach. Yep. Even Michael Carter got the new head coach. Isaiah Pacheco, a similar situation, same regime. He kept his job. So as long as Sean McVay is there, do you feel good about Williams? He's crept all the way up to my RB9, and that feels even uncomfortably high for me, but he's a consensus top 12 running back, so I'm not that far ahead of consensus.
I've got him at RB7.
There we go.
So I'm a little bit more aggressive. Now, you mentioned one of the, there were analysts that absolutely loved Kyren Williams coming out. I was 100% in that camp. There's a tweet that people love to bring back up from mine, which is purely my film grades. It's ignoring context. And I have since learned to not just release my pure film grades because of this tweet. But from a pure film perspective, I liked Kyren Williams more than Breece Hall coming out in that NFL draft class. Like purely what Kyren Williams brought to the table as a pass protector dramatically boosted his stock. Now, he falls to the 5th round of that NFL draft, and I was very, very quiet all of last year because I was like, this is just not happening. Even though I'm a big believer in the talent, I knew that he could produce. I did not see this coming. Like, I did not see Kyren Williams producing in this manner. I thought that he was going to be a good 3rd down running back that could contribute slightly on 1st and 2nd down because he still is an undersized back. That's the other big part of this is he's still a sub 200-pound running back, but that hasn't stopped him from being dramatically productive here, especially this past year. 2 weeks before the season kicked off in Scott Fishbowl, I had an open spot. I think I dropped Richie James to go pick up Kyren Williams because I was just like, I like Kyren Williams. There's a path with Cam Akers, which again, we talk about like feels like an eternity ago. It feels like an eternity ago that Cam Akers and Kyren Williams were sharing the same backfield. But we saw what Kyren can do. So the talent level is there. The regime consistency is such a great point, Heath, and that's something that I've overlooked, which is fantastic to bring that to the table because yes, that is a massive key part of a running back that has this day 3 draft capital continuing to hold onto that job. Isaiah Pacheco is a perfect example. I think that Kyren Williams can hang on to the job. Now, will they add competition to this backfield this offseason? Yes, almost certainly. However, does that look like going after Josh Jacobs in free agency? No, I don't believe that. So Kyren, I am very bullish on, but yet at the same time, there's a path to be able to try and capitalize on this because you spent a 4th round rookie draft pick on Kyren Williams and you held on to him all last year, or you picked him up off of waivers in your dynasty league and you got the running back 2 on a points per game basis this past year. But at the same time, have you looked at dynasty running back rankings recently? Right. It gets pretty gross once you get past the top 5, really. So it's like, who are you going to sell Kyren Williams for? Unless it is you're stacked at running back, you have Kyren Williams as your RB3 or RB4, and you want to go after one of the top name wide receivers. That I'm okay with. But otherwise, who are you selling him for?
Yeah, and I think it's important to note, even if we feel relatively confident about his floor, his dynasty floor, relative to running backs. I've written a lot about this. Holding running backs this time of year is terrifying. And so he still has a lot of risk because of the position that he plays, because of the draft capital. But I would agree with you. That's why he's a top 12 running back, is because there's not 12 running backs who you feel better about. And I think he deserves it. He earned it. And I would expect that he's going to keep that role for as long as he can stay healthy and McVay stays there. Let's take one more short break. Then I want to change gears, get over to wide receiver.